Hey, everyone. Today, we're switching gears and talking about the one blockbuster that is dominating the global conversation right now. We are, of course, talking about the highly anticipated film, Wicked, for good. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of the movie's magic, let's have some fun. We're not going to let you get bored, so we'll play a quick, fun game right after this introduction. Our goal is to give you the film's core essence and share what the critics are raving about. Wicked, for Good, is a spectacular 2025 musical fantasy film that serves as the epic conclusion to the stage adaptation, dramatically redefining the origins of the classic, The Wizard of Oz, tale. The story centers on the complex and often heartbreaking relationship between two future icons, Elphaba, the misunderstood and green-skinned outsider who becomes the Wicked Witch of the West, and Glinda, the privileged and popular student who rises to become Glinda the Good. Introduction and review. Critics have universally praised this film, noting that its biggest strength lies not just in its dazzling visuals and powerful musical numbers, but in its profound emotional depth. Reviewers emphasize that the movie transcends typical fantasy, offering a sophisticated commentary on public perception, prejudice, and the fierce bond of female friendship. The performances by the leading actresses, Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, have been highlighted as Oscar-worthy, perfectly capturing the emotional turmoil and eventual divergence of their characters. The consensus among reviews is that the film is a powerful, touching, and visually immersive experience. One leading critic called it a mesmerizing triumph of spectacle and sentiment, urging audiences to see the incredible conclusion to this magical saga. The plot of Wicked, for Good immediately follows the events of the first film, chronicling Elphaba's descent into exile after being publicly framed as the Wicked Witch of the West. The wizard and Madame Morrible intensify their propaganda campaign, fueling widespread fear and hatred against her throughout Oz. In this second chapter, Elphaba's mission shifts from personal redemption to actively fighting for the oppressed animals of Oz, intentionally embracing her wicked persona to shield those she cares about. Meanwhile, Glinda is cemented in her public role as Glinda the Good but is deeply conflicted, striving to protect her best friend while maintaining her standing. The narrative masterfully guides their separate but intertwined paths toward a powerful and unavoidable collision. The climax involves a deeply emotional confrontation where both women make irreversible, selfless decisions. The plot serves as the ultimate conclusion to their story, effectively showing that the true meaning of Wicked is far more complex than the history books of Oz suggest. Friends, let's discuss the production of the movie. A film adaptation of the Broadway musical Wicked was announced in 2012, with scheduled release dates of December 20, 2019, December 22, 2021, December 25, 2024, and November 27, 2024. After numerous delays, it was released on November 22, 2024. In April 2022, director John M. Chu announced that the adaptation would be split in two parts, saying, "As we prepared the production over the last year, it became impossible to wrestle the story of Wicked into a single film without doing some real damage to it. As we tried to cut songs or trim characters, those decisions began to feel like fatal compromises to the source material that has entertained us all for so many years. We decided to give ourselves a bigger canvas and make not just one Wicked movie but two. With more space, we can tell the story of Wicked, as it was meant to be told while bringing even more depth and surprise to the journeys for these beloved characters." 28. Stephen Schwartz echoed Chu's sentiment in June, while also confirming that a new song was in the works for one of the two films. "We found it very difficult to get past, defying gravity, without a break. That song is written specifically to bring a curtain down, and whatever scene to follow it without a break just seemed hugely anticlimactic. Even as a very long single movie, it required us cutting or omitting things that we wanted to include and that we think fans of the show and the story will appreciate. What we have discussed is that changes need to be additive, to use producer Mark Platt's term. They need to add something to the story or the characters. They can't just be changes to do something different. I feel confident that by the time the movie is made, if we all continue to have the same degree of input, I could have a conversation with anyone who has a question about any of the changes made from the stage show and justify why I think it's better for the movie." In November 2022, Schwartz said the film would include two new songs, to meet the demands of the storyteller. In December 2024, Chu said the film would have a darker tone and that the character of Dorothy Gale would have a more prominent role compared to the musical. Friends, now we will discuss the movie's marketing strategy. Principal photography began alongside Wicked on December 9, 2022, and had nearly been completed by July 2023 before production was suspended due to the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike. Both films resumed production on January 24, 2024, and concluded filming on January 26. 32. The song vocals were recorded live on set at the insistence of Arrivo and Grande, with Academy Award-winning production sound mixer Simon Hayes collaborating with Chu on the recordings of the actors' vocals, using a variation of the same recording techniques that were implemented on Les Miserables. Chu cited Steven Spielberg's 1991 film Hook as inspiration for the use of large-scale sets and practical effects, including 9 million colorful tulips planted on location to surround the Munchkinland set and an actual yellow brick road paved on the ground with real mud. Many sets from the first film were repurposed for the second film, such as the life-size train to Emerald City doubling as Glinda's personal locomotive, and the governor's mansion in Munchkinland constructed with elements from the Shiz University Library and Madame Morrible's office. Chu also said that the 1998 films Pleasantville and The Truman Show were influences on how both films thematically portray the Land of Oz, saying, "It helps create this idea of the rebelliousness that this new younger generation are discovering." How far will that take everybody in Oz throughout the course of the whole story of both movies? It's an awakening of a generation. You start to see the truth about things that maybe you were taught differently. The design of the Tin Man was a collaboration between production designer Nathan Crowley, costume designer Paul Tazewell and prosthetic makeup designer Mark Coulier. The prosthetics took 4 hours to apply and were designed as an homage to the Tin Man's appearance in the 1939 film, portrayed by Jack Haley. The character's final depiction was a combination of practical costume and makeup prosthetics with some visual effects work. Friends, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you can catch our upcoming videos.